How y'all doing today? My name's Ayin, and today's topic of discussion is going to be people who have nothing left to talk about. People who have nothing left to talk about. Now, when I'm thinking about this topic, I'm thinking about, and this is going to go back a little bit of a throwback video that I've done. Just a little bit. I'm thinking about people who the only things that they can talk about are discouraging things that perhaps you've already addressed with them that you didn't want to talk about or you didn't want to engage in because you're just wanting to have a change for the better, for some more uplifting, encouraging conversation. That's one of the reasons why I started this channel, because I found that a lot of people who want encouraging content, they want it without strings attached. And since none of us are perfect, we're all capable of being both encouraging and discouraging. So the only thing we can do is to strive to do better. That's the reason why I end each one of my videos with always encouraging, never discouraging. Because I'm always wanting to strive to be encouraging, a breath of fresh air to the people that's around me, helping, building up anything that you may be focused on doing, or providing some sort of light to a situation that maybe perhaps you didn't see. Not just blowing smoke or filling you up, but really looking at that situation and seeing, what could be a better outcome for this? What is something that you could strive for? So like I said, that's one of the reasons why I started this channel. And sometimes people who think in that mindset, what I've often heard when interacting with these individuals, they're like, man, I can't really talk to a lot of the people that's around me because either they're not receptive to this, or it just kind of goes over their head, or they just kind of result to talking about the same old, same old. So with this channel, that's the reason why when I first launched it, I launched it with as much content that I had. So people could come on here, engage in this content, and interact with people in the comments. You can find other people that are like-minded, trying to work towards some of the things that you're wanting to do, so you can have some encouragement. But sometimes you have people that they only want to talk about things that bring them down. Like I said, we're all imperfect. We all are. We're all imperfect. We all have moments where we feel down and we're not as up as we should be. But you don't want to be in that headspace where you're at an all-time low all the time. You're putting out fires in your life all the time. You're going through drama with people that's in your circle all the time. You're arguing with people out of your circle all the time. You always got something to complain about. You're always short-ended on something with dealing with who knows what all the time. It shouldn't be like that all the time. And sometimes you interact and you come into contact with these people, and it's like, man, let me see how I can do a different spin to this interaction. Let me see how I can just try to, incorporate something encouraging in there. And that person is steadily swatting it down every take. Again, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you can be in a bad headspace, and sometimes you may not be receptive to that. And sometimes you may want a person to come down to a low of where you're at so they can empathize and sympathize with you. I'm not even talking about those interactions. I'm talking about where people want you to come down there and live with them. And it's just like, look, I don't want to talk about Uncle Jimbo doing the same thing from the umpteenth time and you're enabling them to do it. I don't want to talk about that because it's tiring. I don't want to talk about cousin or my sister so-and-so doing this. This is the same thing you were saying the last time I was over here. And this was the same thing you were saying the time before that. This is the same thing you called me up on. This is the same thing you sent me text messages on. I don't want to talk about that because you're doing the same thing. You're not going to change it. We've already talked about healthier ways to do this. What do you want? What do you want? Okay, well, I'll move from talking about your sister to your brother. Okay, I'm talking about your aunt, your uncle. Now I'm talking about the interaction that I had at the grocery store. When situations become like that, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I don't think we have anything to talk about. That's the topic of this video, because it's just like we don't have a common ground on how to interact. Not that I don't want to hear on what you're saying, but it's always like this. And you know, another reason why we're making this video, because I used to think, and I tried doing this for years, but it was so tiring. This was way before I was doing videos. To deal with people, you know, you would like to be on 100%. But when I come up against with these individuals, I would try to be at like 110, 115, 125%, when that's not even possible. The reason being, with me saying that I try to be at that 110, 115, 125% possible, because I was trying to build my resilience up. Because I knew even though I was coming around or calling or trying to interact with you to have a good interaction, I just knew it was going to be a downward swing to it. Now, if I'm lucky, 3% of the time, 5% of the time, might catch you on an upswing of things where it's like, whew, man, I was able to walk out of there or get off this phone and, you know, still feel good about the interactions, if I'm lucky. But the majority of the time, say for instance, if I could, even though it's not possible, to get to 115%, 125%, I'd still get done interacting with them 90%, 80%, because it's just that exhausting. So I have chalked it up to, you know what, we don't have anything to talk about. So since we don't have anything to talk about in this commonality, I need to move you from, like this other video that I've done, this front row up off of my life. You need a seat further back. Maybe I need to put you, you know, sitting close to a exit. Because you sitting in the front row, it's just not going to cut it. That's where I'm coming from when I'm talking about these interactions or people not having anything to talk about. Because that's essentially what it boils down to. Because we're at a miss. It's a missed opportunity. It's a missed or a lost connection. Like one of the other videos I've done on my channel. See, from the past, what I would try to do is, even though there were things and the person clearly didn't respect the boundaries or the parameters that I set in place for things that I wanted to talk or discuss, even though I respected theirs, they didn't respect mine, I'd bring myself around to listening. But see, that's what grates on you. That's what wears on you. That's what gets you tired. Is that fair to you? Now, keep in mind, like I said, you always got to take it back to self, because you want to be the best you that you can be. And you being a healthy you, it's not like you're being selfish or like, well, you know, I'm just trying to, you know, take it to me because I just want to feel good 100% all the time. No, because when you're being a healthier you, it's not only being a healthier you, it's being a healthier you for other people that's around you. I've noticed that there's been interactions where the interaction has been so tainted to where, even though I would try not to, it would affect another interaction that I had outside of there, because I was just so beat down from talking with this person. It was so discouraging. And that's what you want to avoid. It's bad enough that you take that destructive or unhealthy interaction with you. But more often than not, you take it with you and you carry it on to something else. That's what I just wanted to bring your attention to. Think about that. Think about when you're interacting with people and you're constantly ducking and dodging around. You're trying to keep things even keel and centered towards, you know, basically like you're trying to do a song and dance to keep them happy, to keep the peace. Think about it. Do we really even have anything to talk about? Because really it's not me talking, it's you. That's why I talk about conversational bullies. Look up some of those other videos that I mentioned on the channel. Think about it. In the meantime, while you're thinking about it, check out a book I've written. I Am Kilimanjaro's The Arithmetic of Family Communication. I will leave a link in the description box. In the meantime, stay encouraged, avoid being discouraged, hit that subscribe button, follow me on my other social media, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram. Obviously, I'm on YouTube. Until next time, you have a good one. My name's Zaim. See you next time.